Well, hello everyone and welcome. Happy Thursday. And really excited about our show for you today. Lesli Bitel here, in case for those of you that don't know me, business coach and mentor for private practice clinicians, dietitians, functional medicine docs, and coaches. So I am really looking forward to our chat today with Annie Kay. And I think this is going to be a topic that is really, really going to be super helpful and extremely intriguing because it's all about money and how to get more of it, right? And let's just be honest, who can't use some of that, right? So, welcome, Annie. Really just delighted to have you. Annie is one of my Six Figure Biz Academy cohort of 2021 students, and she's rocking it, absolutely doing such a phenomenal job growing her business. And tell us, why don't we start by, so what we're going to talk about, let me, I guess, back up, supporting your do good dreams through grants and crowdsourcing. Okay, so a really cool topic. And let's jump in. So I think before we start, why don't we talk a little bit about your history? Because not everyone knows you yet.
So I'm so happy to be here and so happy to share a little bit of what has unfolded for me. Let's see, I am a registered dietitian and have been for a long time. I worked at the Department of Public Health in Boston for a number of years, which is relevant to our topic today. I am a yoga therapist, a certified yoga therapist. That's what IAYT is, certified through the International Association of Yoga Therapy. I was the lead nutritionist at Kripalu, which is the largest yoga center in the country, for about 7 years. And just in the last couple years have taken my business full time. I've had an LLC for a number of years because I've been a speaker and I love to write books and so forth. But now I'm doing it full time, having my own business, and grants have been a very important part of my transition. And it really, through grant funds, I got to meet you, for example.
Yeah, that's right. That it absolutely, that is how we connected, right? Is through that opportunity you had. Great. So so what are you doing now then in your practice? Like, what is your main area of focus now?
Well, I primarily serve women in the second half of life who are facing looming medical issues, who are interested in working on lifestyle and sort of integrative mind-body approaches, but who are really looking for somebody with that strong scientific basis. So I work with women, and I'm starting to do more work with health professionals who are kind of frustrated with the really soul-crushing part of allopathic medicine. Like, how can we weave these wisdom practices in a way that is scientifically valid and in a way that helps the people that we serve, making these ways of addressing their health kind of more meaningful and more resonant.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a great target audience. Often kind of like, I would say, almost neglected in some respects, right? So
Yes.
I love that you're focusing on that population. That's so good.
Yeah.
So tell us, just tell us a little bit more about your, I guess, your approach, because I know you tend to do things differently. So give us a little insight in terms of.
Well, I I also want to say that, I went to Cornell eons ago for nutritional biochemistry. So my grounding is in the science of biochemistry and nutrition. But as my professional life unfolded, I just had incredible opportunities to study with wonderful yogis and people in the wisdom traditions. And I'm also have really become interested in shamanic herbalism. So again, that's another area that is quite outside of the realm of our Western scientific literature. And actually, Leslie, I have to say, since I studied with you and my business has started to operate, I've really found that, the science of yoga is exploding and the whole genetics and neuroscience behind it. So I found that there's actually a lot to catch up on, and it's a fast moving scientific area, the whole area of neurobiology now, and just how professionals are thinking about yoga therapy. Like, hang on to your hats. It is unfolding quickly. I'm a little relieved that, shamanic herbalism, I haven't seen quite so much Western scientific activity around that, but
Yeah, right?
someday.
Someday. Yeah, hopefully. I think that's great with,
Yeah,
studies and, things coming out that can really, support from a scientific perspective what happens with yoga, and especially that genetic connection. Like, that's really fascinating.
yeah. And any dietitian who has started to use a little bit of mindful eating and bringing those meditative pieces into
Yep.
their practice, I just want to tell you, it's so much more than eating a raisin slowly. There's so much more that we know now about how habits form and how to change, and it's an exciting time for those of us in lifestyle sciences um, to serve the people that we do.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's jump into, this whole idea of being able to get grants, right? Because I this is uncharted territory for me personally. So how did you first, I guess, where did it start? Like, how did you first learn about grants?
I think that when I was working at the Department of Public Health in Boston, I participated in what they call the block grant process. So
Okay.
that's the process where federal funds are channeled to the states for different things,
Mhm.
and then the states channel those funds into the community in different ways. So I actually got to be on many, many panels where I was reviewing grants that people sent in. And I have to say, you really do need to know who your audience is when you apply for a grant. You have to answer the questions they ask, and
Mm.
you have to provide the documentation they request, because I would read through these really inspiring ideas, but if they didn't have all their paperwork, we had to just throw out the applications.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
So
talk
be
about know your audience.
and know your audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit about, what is available, because you had mentioned before we hit the live button that there's a lot of activity going on right now,
Yeah.
especially for those of us that are in helping fields, which obviously I think everyone in our audience is part of that, right? Just, is trained in a helping profession and also genuinely wants to help other people.
Yes.
So yeah, what's going on out there? What and what's available and how can we get access?
Yeah. So we're all aware, hopefully, that Congress passed that big infrastructure bill a while back, and that there have been also, related to COVID, a number of big sources of funds that have been working their way through the system.
Mhm.
Now, some of the things you've heard a lot about, the PPP and this and that, but I just want to say that there are still, in most states, funding, and that big infrastructure bill is really working its way through now, so that places like the SBA, please look up the Small Business Association in your state, because they're a real nexus of information for grants for small business. So this isn't for nonprofits. They have a whole nother set of grants. These are specific grants for small business owners, to help them do a variety of things. Um, so there are funds. See,
Mhm.
I live in the great state of Massachusetts, and I've found that um, all the grants I've received are state specific.
Okay.
So, for example, I got a grant. The grant that funded my work with you was from a nonprofit group called the Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation,
Okay.
who I believe were dispersing federal funds related to the pandemic. I don't even know exactly
Mhm.
where the funds came from,
Okay.
but they were funds that were earmarked to small businesses to help them move their businesses online.
Oh, specifically
Yeah,
keep them online. That's fascinating.
yeah, and I had seen you teaching away, and I was like, "I love the way she teaches, I'd love to teach more with her," and then bam, I got these funds and could study with you, could work with some of your amazing people,
Yeah.
and yeah, and that just really helped me get to where I am today, having a pretty thriving private practice and education business,
Right.
teaching what I want to teach in the way I want to teach it, which is, it's such a gift.
It truly is.
Yeah,
You know, you're your own boss. You can help your clients in the way that you want to help them, right? You're not following someone else's protocol,
right,
which is
right,
incredible. And
right.
of course, I always love to hear, how working together actually catapulted you forward and really helped you to, solidify your plan and just make things so much easier.
Yeah,
Always music to
yeah,
my ears, for sure.
yeah. Well, and Leslie, I'm 61, and I really needed a brush up on the internet and communication and so forth. I've been a teacher and a writer forever, but
Yeah.
it really gave me that update that I needed in order to move ahead in this way. Another thing I
Right.
wanna mention, on the state level,
Yeah.
there are nonprofits that provide technical assistance and help different types of people. So
Okay.
knowing who you are is another big piece of it. So if you are a woman,
Mhm.
in my state, there's a group called the Center for Women in Enterprise. What a great, it's a business group of women across the state, who talk about leadership and funding. And I wrote my first business plan through them. They're awesome. If you're a vet, there are opportunities for veterans to start small businesses
Okay.
or to grow their small businesses. If you're a person of color, there are opportunities that are specific and earmarked for you. If you live in a rural area or serve a rural population, there's there are groups for that. So, kind of getting to know the lay of the land when it comes to groups. And if you do something that can serve people in need
Mm,
or people who don't usually end up first in line, then
yep.
you might be a good small business to receive a grant.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that is so interesting. So obviously it's sounds like it's more state level, right? In terms of
That's been
find
my experience.
okay. Okay. So in terms of finding them, would you start with SBA?
SBA is a fantastic place to start.
Okay.
Um, you might also do a Google search of small business nonprofit or small business technical support in my state.
Okay.
Um, there's a group called the National Association of Self-Employed, which is an interesting group I just found.
Okay.
And you know, the groups or the types of people that I listed off, if you're a rural business, if you own a farm or are affiliated with a farm, that might be a place to start, to start to do some research. And always
Okay.
great to make a couple phone calls too.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
So really, they're out there. Would you say, gosh, so I'm just putting myself in this position, right? I'm a private practitioner and I'm looking for grants. So I would start looking things up in my state. I would go to SBA, right?
Mhm.
Um, and be ready. I'm looking at some of our notes that we have here. Have a dream project that takes some funding that would benefit a population in need.
Mhm.
So is that probably where you would start? Think about the population
Absolutely.
that okay,
So if we take your business, or what you do is you help people to make uh, uh, um, high value cash income producing online
yeah,
businesses. I mean, the obvious extension of that would be scholarships for low income whoever you wanna
okay,
serve, be it women or people of color or whatever that is. So providing scholarships for high
oh,
cost, high service, high impact programming is a I that's a no-brainer in my mind. So that's one right off the top.
okay.
Um I think too, for me, I definitely have a dream
Mhm.
of doing crowdsourced funding for my
Oh,
creative, book projects, for example. Um, People are doing it. People are doing crowdsourcing to create programs, to create online programs.
how
And
did
when you
that
look
work?
at the applications and the ones that are successful,
Huh?
you'll love this, Leslie. It's not like the fanciest and the most beautiful drawings and so forth,
Yeah,
but it's like the old guy who, like, looks right in the camera and just makes a personal connection.
I love that.
And then his little campaign was doing really well.
Okay, because he made a connection online, right? Which is so important.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about that process of crowdsourcing. And to everybody listening, send your questions in. This is such a
Mhm.
great opportunity
Yeah.
because, Annie's been so successful in doing this. She's really kind of like, I would say, the expert in this area. I honestly, I don't know if anybody else, I talk to a lot of people day in and day out.
Interesting.
I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else that has this wisdom. So please send your questions in
Yeah.
so that we can help.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear a little bit about the crowdsourcing.
Yes, but and just before I get into that, I wanna say that what can help you a lot is knowing the lay of the land of the people that you serve. So, for example, if it's women, are there local or statewide, well, who are the statewide nonprofits who are currently serving the people you would love to target, but for that they wouldn't have the income to
Yeah.
purchase your services right off the shelf? Um, and and also to pick up the phone and to call the head of that nonprofit and say hi and just tell them that you have the energy and the passion to reach this, this group of people, and you're open to um, doing these sorts of things. So I think that's half the battle, right? Of just letting people know, what do they say? Ask, ask, ask. It's
Right?
that aspect of it. So many of the skills, Leslie, that you teach
Mhm.
are really quite directly
Okay.
applicable. Yeah.
Can you give an
If
example?
if you can do a marketing and media campaign, if you can do a launch, then you can do a crowdsourcing campaign.
Okay.
It's a lot the same thing of giving the facts,
Mhm.
but also, telling the story and, making that emotional connection in a way that builds, what do you say? Know, trust, and
To know,
like.
like, and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also convincing a group of people that you're the person to do it, you
Right.
know?
Okay.
And yeah. So,
So with crowdsourcing, you have to basically get in front of lots of people, right?
yeah, you have
Never done
to
it.
do video. You
Okay.
can't escape video.
All right.
And, a
I'm
little
just
bit of
on
Canva,
video, guys. Say
to
that last one again.
a little bit of Canva to pull it together,
Yep.
and getting clear on things like, I mean, it's a little different language because it's for lay people, it's sales language, but you're still doing, the objectives. You're still telling them what people who, take this program or read this book will, how will it make their lives better?
Okay.
So, so it's a proposal process,
Okay. Well,
it's
it
just,
sounds very similar to messaging, right? Right?
absolutely,
Like, which is
absolutely,
like the first thing we do in the Six Figure Biz Academy, right? Is
exactly,
like get clear
exactly.
on who you're trying to reach, what are their main challenges that they're experiencing from their perspective,
Mhm,
and what are some of those results that
mhm.
you can help them to achieve. It sounds easy, but usually it's not as easy as it sounds, right?
Exactly, exactly.
When you see it.
Yeah, it's fun and exciting, but it's a lot of, it's work. It's real
Right.
work, but it's work that benefits others. So, yeah, for me, when I've received these grants, you would think that my stress level would go down.
Yeah. Is it
But
opposite?
my stress level has gone up. I've really had to, and my own personal way is to work along, do all this beautiful stuff, and then step back. I
Mhm.
have to watch I have to watch your Facebook on systems.
Yeah. Creating systems.
Yeah. So, I think that anything that you're trying to make larger, or trying to, my husband calls it the booster stage. You're in the booster stage. That it's effort, and you're kind of moving into the unknown.
Right.
There's that rule that everything takes longer than you think it will.
It does.
So, when you whip up your vision of how things are gonna unfold, it tends to be a little pie in the sky, you
Yeah.
know? But, yeah, what I have heard too is that if you get a small grant in business
Mhm.
and then do a good job and have something to show for it,
Mhm.
that you increase your capacity for the next one.
Oh, okay,
And
so
that's
you're on the good list. Right?
yeah, you're on the
Okay,
good
well, that
list.
makes sense, plus you already know how to do it, I'm sure that helps,
Mhm,
and you've
mhm,
proven that you're a good investment,
mhm.
right? And
Yes,
that you deliver the goods that you
yes,
promised.
yes,
That makes a ton of sense.
yes, yes. So it's a different it's a little tweak on the business model that you're very used to,
Mhm.
coaching and presenting.
Yep.
But it's viable. There's a lot going on right now, and it's so far so good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the kind of those growing pains that you're alluding to, you know?
Um,
Um,
well,
yeah, just, you know.
I have I have I think I've asked you the question 5, maybe 10 different times so far
Yeah.
about how do I bring on other experts and
Uh-huh.
either pay them or make it, make it appealing enough that it's, valuable enough for them to participate without pro bono, and I still that's something that for me is still I think it's a mindset. I think a lot
Mhm.
of the limitations and struggle are around mindset, and
Think, yeah.
just an experiment that I haven't done yet,
Okay.
you know?
So basically you've got a bit large body of work, right?
Yes.
And you're under some stress and pressure to deliver, right?
Yeah,
And, yeah, so before we hit the live button, we were talking a little bit just about what that feels like
yeah,
and, just the possibility of, growing a team, adding a team member to take on
exactly,
some of that work, right?
exactly.
So it sounds like you've got administrative help, so
Yes,
good to go there, right?
yes,
You've got,
yes,
our brilliant tech guru, right?
yes. Yep,
Rita helping
yep,
you, which is amazing, and she's
yep.
so creative and
She is
everything. Like, I've never
she's
seen her
everything.
with
Yep,
more skills
yeah. Yeah,
than
she's funny.
and she's hilarious to be and just a great person. Okay, Rita, I don't know if you're listening, but
Hi, Rita.
like the Rita fan club. Um, so can you bring someone on to help you to deliver the service? It sounds like that's where the deficit lies, perhaps?
Yes,
Or
and it's that's the rub for me. That's that, tuck a pain point, I guess, of how do I make that jump and, bring in maybe another expert
yeah,
who's and for me here's the thing too, Leslie, I've been saying for a number of years, like, I'm in the mentoring phase of my professional life.
yeah,
I'm sure I said that to you. So
abs
it's like so it's time for me to bring in some people to work along with me and figuring out how to do that while keeping an eye on profitability and not getting into trouble, and that sort of thing is always my
okay, yeah,
is the dance.
right,
Yeah.
right. I got that. Yeah, and I think, part of it is it's just scary, right? The financial side kind of put aside, it's, kinda letting go and
It is.
right, and I think that because not everyone we're not gonna do it all the same way. Certainly, not everyone is gonna have training like yours.
Yep.
You can see how that would be really pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
end, I think it could be really fulfilling as well, right?
Exactly.
Take some stress
Yes.
and pressure off of you, really
Yes.
growing the opportunity to grow as a leader,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty cool, and that's
Yeah.
really what I see, when I see RDs grow their team,
Mhm.
a lot of them have never even done an interview before, right? Like
Right.
they don't have experience in hiring. They just have never worked that skill set.
Yes.
So it's a huge opportunity for growth.
Yeah, it is, and it is a scary place, but it's interesting to have. I mean, I've built professional teams throughout my life, but you always for someone else, and
Yeah.
now it's under my own, uh, it's under my
Okay.
own sail, and it's a little bit different, but I think I'll get used to it as I go along and figure out how it all works together and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, I have to say this training and the people I've met through the training, um, it's really I was meeting with my pod, which,
Oh,
um
you're still meeting with your pod? That's
I
amazing.
jumped I jumped into another pod.
Did you?
I did, I crashed a pod.
Oh, oh my gosh. You
Yes.
all right, so I'll let you explain what a pod is.
So a pod is a team from Leslie's training. It's a team of small business owners who are building their practice. And I meet twice a month with a group of there are 5 of us all together from across the country, and we're building similar businesses in that we all are looking to teach, we are all looking to create, high value products. We all have very different businesses, but, to learn things like to learn practice better or these other kind of programs and to learn how to do video and to all those things, it's just really fun to have a mastermind group of sorts
Amazing.
who will work through. And, I still keep in touch with my original pod by email, but I jumped into another pod,
Okay.
because they were rocking, and I just jumped in.
That's great. It's a delight to hear.
I
Um,
love them. Yeah,
so good.
yeah,
It can be a lonely existence,
it
right?
can
Like,
be.
let's just be honest.
Yeah,
We're at our homes usually all day. You know,
yes,
it's just so awesome to connect with like-minded
yes,
people. And you can learn, it's just amazing. So
yeah,
I love it when it works out that way.
yeah.
In this year's cohort, we've got a couple of really outstanding pods as well, and they're
Oh,
just
good. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
sometimes it's challenging to match, right? Let me tell you,
Yes,
it's not just like, oh, let's just roll the dice.
yes,
Oh yeah, I get out
yes,
like it is a huge process,
yes,
trying to match everyone.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
but when it works, it's priceless, right?
yes.
It absolutely.
And other students reached out to me, and I reach out to other students as well who
Okay.
share or who are doing something similar or, so it's just a great cohort to
Mhm.
stay in touch with. And as you know, like for anyone you went to school with, if they reach out to you,
Yeah.
you're usually happy to hear from them. So, and
Oh, that's so cool.
the people who go through your program are are not just looking to be successful, they're really doing something about it.
Mhm.
And that's a great collection of people to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say I have the best clients on earth. I really do. I have
Yeah.
awesome people that I work with.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
incredible. People
Yeah.
like yourself.
Yeah. It's a good group.
So, yeah. So on this topic of getting funds, crowdsourcing, um, what else should we share? Can you think of any other tips and strategies? Anything what about like how does social media fit in?
It's all about social media. It's all about how you get the word out to whom. So, however you are growing your business,
Okay.
be it to a newsletter group, your own email list. It's great reason to have a nice email list because you're hoping that many folks on that list will be at the front of the line when it comes to crowdsourcing or funding a book or creative project. But also, hey, crowdsourcing is yet another opportunity to build your list, right? Make sure that when you reach out with the opportunity and do the communication within the crowdsourcing platform, be it like Kickstarter, that's an example of one that's been around for a long time, but there's a growing number of these sorts of fundraising uh, platforms.
Yeah.
And you do marketing within that platform too. So you want to make sure to capture the people you connect with there who are interested. It's a great opportunity to showcase the work that you already do. So, it's like just another piece of the whole web of communication and love, really. So, and social media is such a critical part of that sort of modern way of connecting with people. So yeah, so all of those things are
Perfect.
come into play. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's incredible. So as we, start to wrap up, what is one piece of advice that you wish everyone would take?
The idea of a grant sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to
It
pay it
does.
back, and that's a really beautiful thing.
Amazing.
But when you do accept a grant, it is a responsibility.
Yeah.
And like any other area that we're talking about in our small business or growing our small businesses, it takes mindset. It takes professionality. It takes a real service-oriented mindset. It takes good communication skills and knowing who you are
Mhm.
speaking with. So when you're speaking with a grant funder, you've got to dot your I's and cross your T's and know what your gross and net and margin and all that kind of stuff is, know your numbers. And but it's yet another path to growth, both
Right.
personally and professionally, but also for this business dream that you're unfolding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many skills that you're gonna really test and grow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so
And
fun.
it is an area that pulls in a lot of the communications, the proposal writing, but, think about what you're good at. When you think about how to approach these things and which opportunity feels like a good fit for you.
Okay. Sounds amazing. Guys, I really recommend. There's money available, right?
There
With
is. I
who would
mean, there's a lot of competition. I can't
Okay,
say it's like,
okay,
it's not like picking a quarter up off of the street.
right.
But if you honestly want to serve people who are outside the those who tend to be first in line economically,
Yeah,
then yeah, this is a path to do that.
okay,
It can be part of the mix.
right. Makes a lot of sense, and
Yeah.
it just makes perfect sense to try,
Yeah.
Nothing lost, nothing gained, as they say, right?
Right. Right.
Um, so Annie, do you have, any where would you like do you have a freebie or a
I
downloadable?
Yes, I do. I created a little tip sheet with some,
Ooh,
resources, some ideas to get started, and I made a list of the, kind of the biggest crowdsource,
how valuable.
platforms, yeah, that are good for small business. So definitely, definitely
I think
download
this is
that, and, that can get you started. connect with your local SBA. There's a lot going on. There are nonprofits in every state, and this little tip sheet will really go far to get you started.
Oh, that's amazing. That's super valuable. Thank
Yeah,
you.
go get them.
All right. And I'm typing in one more link here. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully, yep, looks like I spelled everything correctly. And guys, if you haven't yet signed up for my funnel challenge, do not delay. Okay. It's lesliebytel.com/funnel-challenge. And we're into day 3. So we're going to meet tonight at 7 p.m. Central. And we'll be well into day 3. But do not worry if you're just going to join us for the first time tonight, because you can listen to the recordings from Tuesday, Wednesday. So it was a three-day event. So really some great content for you there, all designed to help you to create your strategy that leads to multiple streams of revenue in your business. So you're not 100% reliant on only doing one-on-one, right? I always like to say a healthy business, just like a healthy plate, has variety. So, right. So that's really the end goal. So I'm teaching a lot of fundamentals, really important concepts in this 3-day challenge. It includes several really detailed PDFs as well. So you're not going to want to miss it. So lesliebytel.com/funnel-challenge. And then just a quick reminder, I would definitely grab Annie's free gift as well. Get yourself started. And that looks amazing. So she gives you some tips on how to get started, where to even start looking for some of this funding with grants and things like that. So I think that is a extraordinary resource, truly super valuable to get you started. So, all right. Well, it goes by way too fast whenever I talk to you, Annie. Honestly, it does. I appreciate your time today. It was always such a treat to see you. And I'm glad that you're doing well. And sounds like you're really busy, but doing great work in the world.
Yep.
And it's an opportunity for growth for you too, right?
Yes, definitely.
So flexing those leadership muscles next.
Yeah.
That's what's next for you.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, grab your seat for the funnel challenge. And hopefully I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. We're meeting on Zoom. So hope to see you then. All right, guys, take care. And I'll see you either tonight and or next week. Same time, same place. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.